Bucs and Bears. And Shefty, I'm back with you here. Brady's supporting cast is banged up. Take us through some of the injuries.
Well, it's interesting. They've already ruled out Chris Godwin and LaShawn McCoy. O.J. Howard ruptured his Achilles on Sunday. Mike Evans and Scotty Miller, their wide receivers, are listed as questionable for tonight. I'm told that Mike Evans, a decision on his status won't be made until the pregame. They want to see how he works out, how he looks, and how he feels tonight. And typically in Bruce Arians' systems and on his teams, a player who doesn't practice during the week, as Mike Evans didn't, doesn't play in that game that night. Additionally, you've got other players here like Leonard Fournette who are listed as doubtful. And so this is going to be a patchwork Buccaneers offense, whether Mike Evans does or doesn't play tonight. You have to figure that there'll be a lot of 2 tight end sets with Rob Gronkowski and Cameron Brate. No quarterback really plays well against the Bears defense. And so it's an interesting matchup on a lot of levels in a short week where the Bucs have a lot of injuries, a lot to overcome in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm playing against a good Bears defense, as you mentioned. Let me get the guys back in here. It's a big game between 2 NFC contenders. People not taking the Bears that seriously, but they are 3-1 as we sit here. So let me give you each a chance to give me the storyline you're looking for most closely tonight. Lewis, I'll start with you. What do you have your eye on tonight, Bucs and Bears?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the comparison between the 2 quarterbacks for Tom Brady. Look, last week it was about them starting to hit their stride against the Chargers as far as the efficiency by which they were working. And they really got it going in the passing game, and in particular the downfield passing game. But if 2 of the primary components of that game led by Mike Evans aren't available to play, and then you have O.J. Howard who was done for the season, if those guys are not able to play tonight, then that calls into question just how efficient they're going to look. For Chicago, it's going to be about Nick Foles. It's going to be about the move that Matt Nagy made away from Mitch Trubisky to Nick. Nick's going to have to rebound from a tough performance against the Indianapolis Colts, where that defense in Indianapolis is looking pretty good too. They need to kind of show that, look, this was the right move, which I believe it was, to move from Mitch to Nick. And he needs to put together a strong performance here on a short week and kind of get back on track like he looked late in the game against Atlanta.
Dominique, what do you have your eye on tonight?
I'm going to be watching Gronk closely because when they acquired Gronk, we thought he was going to be like a cherry on top, like just an addition to all the weapons. But because of the Brate injury early in the season, Gronk got a heavy load. And then Brate comes back and O.J. Howard seems to be out for the entire year. They run about 40% of their snaps are with multiple tight ends. Gronk is going to have to become a real part of this offense tonight because of all their injuries, and he's going to become a real part of the offense throughout the rest of the season because O.J. Howard's not coming back, and it seems like the tight ends are an important part to a Tom Brady offense.
D. Wood, what do you have your eye on tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at the offense in general. We've seen, from the Bucs that they've gotten better and better and better as the season has progressed. Now, obviously, the injuries are going to throw a wrench into things, but if you look at Tom Brady, last week, this is a guy who threw 5 touchdowns to 5 different receivers, finished the second half of the game with a perfect quarterback rating. So it seems like Tom Brady is getting into a groove. And if Tom Brady continues to play like this, along with that Bucs defense, this is the team that, from the beginning we've all been talking about could be very dangerous in the NFC.
No question about it. And again, people doesn't feel like they're taking the Bears particularly seriously. If they win tonight, maybe that will change. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.